Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the end of the world. The end of the world as you know it, the end of the world as you've grown up, and welcome to the New World Administration. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to give you guys information that I promise you will not find anywhere else on the internet. I'm going to give you inside information. I'm going to talk to you guys about the next place that Russia is going to attack, allegedly, of course, reportedly for entertainment purposes. I'm going to be talking about this flashpoint in Estonia, what we know so far. And before we get on to this, let me put the chat on. There we are. Now, before we get on to this, guys, for those of you who are members, I've been talking about this for at least like maybe a week, maybe 10 days, maybe a week, 8-9 days. And for the members videos, now I've been putting a lot of stuff, a lot of content, doing members only videos. Now, the reason I've been doing that is members only videos saying, hey guys, listen, this is coming up. I need to get more information. Once I get more information and it comes out on the mainstream, I will do a live stream on this. I'll be sharing maps. I'll be letting you guys know what is coming next. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, can you please make sure you hit those buttons down below, the like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notification. When I talk about things that have not happened yet, they never get as many views because people want to know what's happening now. You know, the mainstream media, they blow up everything that's happening now. And it's like, you know, Strait of Hormuz, Kharg Island, Iran. We were talking about that years ago. I was telling you guys. So like, if you're watching this channel, today's news is old news. And what I'm going to focus on today, guys, is a little town called Narva in Estonia. Now, I've been, like, for the members, I've been talking about this for quite a while, and it does look like now that Narva is going to be the next place that the Russians allegedly, reportedly attack. Now, let me share this article with you guys real quick. And I can't share a lot of the information I've got until it comes out on the mainstream media. So this is it here, guys. Euronews, a People's Republic on NATO edge, the Narva narrative testing Europe's defenses. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, guys, okay? I'm going to be talking about the Russians making their way into Estonia. I've been talking about this for a while. I've been using Poland as an example, and I've always said, you know, I've been quite clear. I've said I think it's going to be Poland. However, I might be wrong. Now, this town of Narva, it is flashing red right now, guys. It's flashing red. So right now, what I'm going to say, if there is to be missile strikes, long-range missile strikes, or Oreshnik, I'm still confident that's going to be Poland, right? If there's going to be ground operations, boots on the ground, little green men and insurgency, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to come at this place called Narva. So where is Narva? I hear you saying, Sean, where is Narva? I'll just show you guys where Narva is on the map real quick, and then I'll start my monologue, and then I will come back to the I'll come back to the map. What's that? Right, that's Pokrovs. We're not interested in Pokrovs today, are we? We're interested in this little town here. So if you guys know what the map I'm using, the red areas is where they have Russian troops. So just for context, guys, this is Narva here, this little town here. This is Narva. It's in the northeastern corridor of Estonia with a land border with Russia. Now, that's the region there, guys, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come onto my opening monologue. I'm going to talk about this, and then we will jump back to that map, and I will show you guys how strategically important it is. I will then give context to what's happening now in the Middle East and how NATO's over, guys. It really is. So right now, there is a fresh wave of concern ripping through the Baltic states. You might want to get a stiff one, guys. That may be a little too carbonated. Now, the Baltic states and across NATO are all worried at the moment about the Estonian border city. It's a town. They call them cities, but they're not. They're towns. Anyway, the border city, border town of Narva, and whether Russia might be gearing up for some sort of provocation or even an outright move there. Now, Narva sits right on the eastern edge of Estonia, hugging the river Narva, which forms the border with Russia. A place with a big Russian-speaking majority. Around 80 to 95% of the city speak Russian. So they're ethnically Russian, right? And I'll come on to Wikipedia in a minute. And it's only a short hop from St. Petersburg. For years, analysts have talked about the Narva scenario, a hypothetical scenario where Moscow tries something limited, perhaps a quick land grab, hybrid tactics, little green men like we're seeing in Crimea, or potentially stirring up trouble to test NATO's Article 5 collective defense clause. Yeah, we all know about that, don't we, guys? We all know it's over. I've given this scenario so many times. Now, what's kicking off the latest information is, and look, guys, and for those of you guys who are members, I've done a couple of videos about this. What's kicking off the latest chatter is the coordinated pro-Russian propaganda push that's been building since early March 2026. Now, the significance of this and the reason, look, guys, I get a lot of information that I just can't share. I get a lot of information that I just can't share. Now, early March 2026, so basically as soon as as soon as the Americans and the Israelis started their war in Iran, if you can call it a war, limited military strikes, right? And we'll be coming on to that afterwards. You know, this chatter has massively increased online. There's Telegram channels, and I went into this on the members only videos. There's Telegram channels, there's people, there's internet restrictions in those regions. So those regions, what I'm told, and you're not going to, honestly, guys, you won't get this information anywhere else. What I'm being told from my sources who speak Russian is that there's internet blackouts in that region, right? There's internet blackouts. So if there's internet blackouts, that means there could be troops moving into that location. We just don't know about it, right? Because we all know, where's my phone? We all know that everyone with a phone is a reporter. Everyone with a phone can upload unsecure, non-encrypted, non-confirmed intelligence, right? OSINT, open source intelligence. If you know what to look for, you can look what's credible or not. So I can't look what's credible because there's an internet blackout. Now, this started early March 2026, which is when I started putting the videos on. Social media accounts, Telegram, VKNet, and elsewhere, suddenly promoting the idea of a so-called Narva People's Republic. Now, when we talk about these People's Republics, when we have to move to Cleethorpes and have the Cleethorpes People's Republic, I'm using this as a template, guys. I'm using this as a template because the Russians are using it with fantastic success. So all over social media at the moment, in Eastern Europe, in Russia, they're talking about Narva People's Republic. Complete, they've got their own flag, their own coat of arms, memes, showing maps as a separate entity, and even hashtags like "We are waiting for Russia." Yeah, hashtag "We are waiting for Russia." Some posts even go further, calls for locals to hand out leaflets, carry out sabotage, arm themselves, declare separation from Estonia, or defend, the Republic of Narva against the Estonian government, all with the implied promise of Russian support. If you're old enough, like me, to have lived through and been on the ground in Ukraine in 2014, this rings alarm bells, straight out of Russia's 2014 playbook in Eastern Ukraine. Invent People's Republic, Donetsk, Luhansk, Crimea, flood the information space with grievances about disinformation, misinformation, fake news against whatever the rule, whatever the government is there. Then use that narrative to justify military intervention. The Estonian counter-propaganda security services, basically, have been tracking this closely. They've labeled it a classic Russian misinformation operation, hybrid warfare designed to sow seeds of division, test reactions, and perhaps lay the groundwork for an intervention. Now, Estonia, they're not taking any chances. They've already beefed up border defenses, bunkers, anti-tank obstacles, the Baltic, what's it called? The Eastern defense line, or whatever they're calling it. And this is precisely to make any incursion by the Russians expensive. However, what we've been talking about on this channel is precisely the opposite, right? On this channel, we've been talking about things like land pirates, asymmetric warfare, and all this stuff. And I think we are going to see a perfect example very soon of what I have been talking about. In the context that, look, guys, if you've been following me for a while, you guys know and you guys understand that NATO, it's not worth the paper it's written on. And we are gonna see this very soon, right? So I've given you guys these examples. I've given you guys these examples in Finland, in various places where you have a border town right on the border with Russia, right? If the Russians storm in, blitzkrieg the place, take control of the vital routes in and out of that little town, have a vote. Literally, what is anyone going to do? Remember, NATO Article 5. Oh, but Sean, oh, Sean, with your northern accent, actually, an attack on one member state is actually deemed an attack on all member states. Yeah, what does that mean? Have you read the rest of the document? I'm not going to go into it, guys, because I've done it to death. We all know that NATO, the rest of the document means that it doesn't matter. We also know from history, right? Watching Turkey get attacked by Iranian drones, Iranian missiles, that turns out you can attack a NATO country and you're not going to get all the other NATO countries firing bombs on you likely in the next 24 hours. So let's put that scenario back to the test, guys, okay? If a NATO country, Estonia, is attacked and the Russians do storm in and take Narva, 24 hours, right? NATO Article 5 states that the Security Council will convene and take whatever action to bring peace and stability to that region, or whatever it said, or whatever the words are. Okay, right. So let's put that into mind, right? So let's just say it happens on the 2nd, right? Let's just say it happens on the 2nd of April. 3rd of April, whatever, that weekend. Let's just say this happens next weekend for entertainment purposes, of course. Let's just say that happens. And Friday morning, this goes in. 0500, you get first boots on the ground in Estonia. By midday, by 12 o'clock, that's a long time, right? 7 hours. By 7 hours, the Russians have encircled Narva. They've put checkpoints on the main supply routes into that location, and they're having a vote. They're going around the streets now, handing out ballot papers. Do you want to be part of Russia, or do you want to be part of Estonia? They all vote. 2 o'clock now, the vote's done. The vote's done at 2 o'clock. They voted unanimously. 99.2% have voted to stay as part of Russia. And the ones that don't want to be part of Russia, they're obviously allowed to leave and, go wherever. What does NATO do then? Is there anywhere in the documents that say a democratically elected government can be overthrown by NATO? I don't think there is, guys. What article is that? What article is that, guys? Can anybody tell me what article that is? No? No, I don't think so either. I don't think anywhere in NATO's articles of memorandum it says that you can overthrow a democratically elected government. And even if you wanted to, there's too many barristers, there's too many lawyers, there's too many people with international law. Oh, we can't break international law. You do realize what's happening, right? So this is the problem that we face right now, guys. This is the absolute problem that we face right now. So is Russia about to attack Narva next? Well, the evidence and the mainstream media are collaborating what I'm saying. I've been talking about this on the on the members videos. I've been talking about this for quite a while. I've been saying, listen, so, there's going to be a new Russia. There's going to be a new European front opened up. I'm identifying it now, guys, and very soon, you guys will see on the mainstream media, and I will be bored of it. As soon as this happens, we will have talked about it enough. We will, on this channel, we will understand what's happening. We will know what's coming, and we'll be like, yeah, we kind of knew what was happening. Sean's told us what's happening. Sean's told us what the next stage is. So, like, when you see all these people, and this is what will happen. You will see people on the mainstream media, Shadow Defense Secretary, who I can guarantee right now cannot point to Narva on the map. Before the United States started and Israel started airstrikes in Iran, they couldn't point to the Strait of Hormuz. They couldn't point to Karg Island. They don't know how the oil gas situation in the world works. I'm a politician. What does that mean? It means I just sign documents and say yes. That's what it really means now. Like, people don't understand how far subverted we are. Gone are the days of Winston Churchill, Gone are the days of Margaret Thatcher, where we had actual people in charge who knew what they were talking about and could hold arguments and articulate the British way of life and say, do you know what, actually, we're British. That's what we want. That is what we don't want. We will do everything to achieve that. If you guys want to come and do that, we're not interested. We want this. We are so cooked, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of this live stream, I opened by saying, welcome to the end of the world. And it absolutely is. Now, of course, the world is still going to be here. There's still going to be a planet Earth, third planet from the sun, third rock from the sun. That's going nowhere. But the whole that we are going through a change right now, guys, an unbelievable change. So listen, if you're joining for the first time, we are talking about the prospect of Estonia being opened up as the next war front, a little town called Narva. The little town called Narva, and we love Narva. We do. We love Narvans. Right, let me share this on. Let me get this back up, guys. So let me just show you guys how easy this is. Right, I'll take that out. Right, okay. So for those of you guys who don't know, Estonia is this here. This is Estonia here. I don't mean to teach anyone to suck eggs. That is there. That's Estonia. That's Estonia there. And then you've got St. Petersburg here. Then you've got these, military deployments here. So anywhere that you guys see red, that's Russian military deployments, right? So let's zoom in now. Let's zoom in and have a look what we're talking about. Okay, so where are we? Now, here we are. Now, this is definitely not a city, right? It's what? 3.8 kilometers wide at its widest point, guys, okay? It's not a city. It is not a city by any stretch of the imagination. Let's see how, hang on, let me give you the area. So that's yeah, right. Trust me, guys, that is not a city. At 12 square kilometers, that, I mean, you could run around that. You could run around that city in an hour. So this is not a city, guys. By Western standards, this is not a city, right? But for some reason, Western media, they love to say things are cities when they're not. This is a town, basically. So, right, let me paint to you guys the scenario right now, okay? So you've got obviously Russia in red, Estonia in not red. Now, I'll do that as in blue. Let's have blue. We'll do the River Narva, sorry, here. That's River Narva, right? Okay, so let's just say, for example, and Narva is here. Let's just say that is the city limits there. Okay, right. So let's just say, for example, on Friday morning, next Friday or whatever, 0500, right? A shit ton of Russian trucks come in through this location, right? Literally, you have a road there, a fantastic road that you can drive straight into Narva. Look at the proximity, right? The Russians drive in and they put a checkpoint here and here. And I think there's a road up there as well and here, right? 3 checkpoints. Literally, guys, 3 checkpoints and you've isolated that city. Nobody's getting in. Nobody's getting in. So the Russians storm through, right, within 1 hour. Quite easily, within 1 hour, the Russians can storm in and put those checkpoints out, right, in those 3 locations. Does anyone think that the Russians have the capacity to put in a checkpoint within 3 hours? Within 1 hour? I think they do. It's very easy, right? So the Russians storm in. 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Checkpoints are in at 0600. Everybody in Narva starts to wake up to the commotion. Yeah, the Russians now control the city because they did it quick, right? They did it quick. Remember, they did this in Crimea. They did this in Donetsk. They've done it before. Okay, so within 1 hour, do you guys think that NATO can convene? They can convene the Security Council. They can get all the member states in the same room and mount an assault on Narva. Do you think they can do that within 1 hour? I don't. I'll be quite honest with you guys. I don't think they can do that. It's going to take at least a week. At least. Maybe a month. Okay, so 1 hour, they've got the checkpoints out, okay? Brings us to 6 o'clock. 8 o'clock, everybody's had their breakfast, all right? 9 o'clock. So there's a lot of time here, there's hours. By 9 o'clock, the Russians claim, okay, we're here now to look after the ethnic Russians. We are here to protect the ethnic Russians because we know that you guys in Narva, you guys are ethnically Russian, and we are coming to protect the Russian speakers. Yeah, we're coming to protect the Russian speakers. We all love that, don't we? We all love people protecting the Russian speakers. We all love the Russians protecting their own people because, I don't know, maybe the Estonians are being racist or something, or they're not woke enough, or they're not, I don't know, whatever. We're coming in and we're letting the people of Narva have the choice. By midday, the ballot boxes are open and the Russian soldiers are going street to street, getting people to come out and cast their votes. By 3 o'clock, there's a vote. By 5 o'clock, so in 12 hours, they've moved in, seized control, had a vote. Now, the people of Narva, imagine if the people of Narva in here, they all vote 99, let's say 99.2%. Let me see if I can do this with my cursor. 2. Oh, it's terrible too. So they've all voted 99.2% to become, they want to be part of Russia. Vladimir Putin? Yes, people of Narva want to be their ethnic Russian. They have voted. Democracy. and we respect the vote of the people, and of course we take them into Mother Russia. And then Narva is now Russian. That's it, guys. It's done. And then you get all these people in Westminster, all these half-baked politicians, all these talking heads. They don't know what's happening because they don't know what's happening. They don't know because they don't know what they don't know. And, you know, you get all these politicians and they're like, actually, Narva, and everybody's throwing stats and statistics about this little town called Narva, like they all knew what it was before. Guys, welcome to the end. These are the things that are coming. Now, once that happens, 12 hours that's going to take. So, guys, listen, there's a show of hands. Who thinks NATO can convene their Security Council? So all the security members, get all the defense ministers in or a representative, get them all into the same room, understand what's happening in Narva, come up with a plan and execute that plan within 12 hours. Does anyone think that can happen within 12 hours? I think it's going to take at least a month. I think it will take at least a month, right? So I do think there is a strong possibility, and from my sources, my Russian-speaking sources, I do believe the likelihood of that is high. Listen, guys, can you make sure if you're on here and you've not done so already, can you please make sure you hit those buttons down below? Because when I do these videos that are talking about stuff that's not yet happened, I never get the same amount of views. You know, the stuff that's happening now, we've been talking about this. The stuff that's happening now for us seems like old news, right? We've been talking about this, how it's going to happen, what's going to happen, the likely runoffs. And, you know, we understand that nothing in the Middle East is going to change for the next 3 years. Not a chance, diddly dance. However, if you guys want to know what's coming next, I'm going to put it to you that there is a strong likelihood that that little place there, the little place called Narva, is going to be the next place. Right, let me just give you guys Wikipedia on Narva. Hang on, give me a second. And then we'll jump onto the chat and then I'll talk about current events. Wiki Narva. There we are, Wiki Narva. Got Wiki Narva. Right. So Narva, beautiful place. That is beautiful, right? That is absolutely gorgeous. Guys, is it me or is that just not beautiful? That is a beautiful castle. Hang on, there's some more pictures. That's the flag. Okay, I'm just going to close that down now. I don't want to throw anything out there. Oh, there, right, okay. You know, beautiful. 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 Beautiful place, guys. If anyone, like, you know, Eastern Europe's beautiful. Maybe not so. But yeah, gorgeous castles and stuff. I love castles. Right, let me jump down. What was it I was trying to find? There we are, look. There we are. So, okay, so this bit, I always look, guys, when I do these videos, I always look at, I look at everything. I look at so many different data points. So the, as of 2011, the ethnicity of Narva is 87.7% Russian. Now, from recent information, that's up to 80 to 95%. The reality is, I don't think anybody really knows. It's very difficult to understand what, but the ethnicity of, as per Wikipedia, the ethnicity of this town of Narva is 87.7% Russian, 5% Estonians, and 7% other. So not many Estonians in this town. Now, if you guys want to take a lesson from this, with subversion, when you fill your towns and your cities with people who do not identify as Estonian, or British, they become very easy to take. They become very easy to take. So, for example, let's look at the United Kingdom, okay? If, for example, and I don't know if this is the case, listen, guys, this is just totally wild. I'm totally making this up. Let me think of a random city in the United Kingdom. Birmingham. Let's just say Birmingham, for example. And let's just say, let me think of a random country. Total random country, guys, off the top of my head. Somewhere not Eastern Europe, because we've just been talking about Pakistan. Let's just say Pakistan, for example, right? Totally random countries, guys. Random country, random city in the United Kingdom. Let's just say that the ethnicity of Birmingham, it was, and I don't know what it is, but let's just say the ethnicity. Let's use these statistics, right? We've just seen there that the ethnicity of this town in Estonia is 87% Russian, right? Let's just say that we'll use those statistics and say that there is a city in the United Kingdom, randomly, we called it Birmingham, and let's just say randomly, random country, that there is a ethnicity, and they say they're 87% Pakistani. That then leaves that open for Birmingham to become part of Pakistan. Birmingham. 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 Where do you live? Birmingham. Obviously, I'm not saying that's the case, but what I am getting at, guys, is I am seeing this flashing right now. Lots of my sources are talking about this. They've been talking about it for a while. You guys on the members, you've been watching the members only videos. I've been talking about this, and I can't talk about these things until I can find an obscure media outlet talking about this. And I have found obscure media outlet talking about this, which is a People's Republic on NATO's edge, the Narva narrative testing Europe's defenses. Right. So that's what's coming. Let's talk. In fact, let me jump onto the chat because I'm conscious I've been neglecting you guys. Right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Let me jump up. Right. Guys, listen. Lots of comments on the chat. I'm at the bottom now, so I do apologize if I've not been able to get anyone's comments. Jay is saying crime traveler. I don't know what crime traveler means. Is that like a you travel around the world looking for crime? Fred is saying where you get molded. I don't know what this means. Right. I don't know. Are you guys talking among yourselves? I don't know. Donk Knee Darko is saying Alan Rock. Yeah, we all know Alan Rock, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Rock, where white people are not allowed out after 8 a.m. Theodore is saying it's a damn shame what they've done to Birmingham. It is, guys. It's a damn shame what they're doing to the United Kingdom. It is. It's a damn shame. But hang on, before I come to this, who do we mean by they? Who is they? Who is they? Googling us is saying Russia gives Putin the green light to send troops anywhere. Russians get arrested as Russia gears up for a greater war preparations. Yeah, look, a couple of days. And look, guys, okay. Right, so I've been talking about these dates of not next weekend, but the weekend after, and specifically the 2nd of April and the 3rd of April, right? Do I think Narva is going to be attacked or little green men are going to go into Narva on that date? I don't know. I'm not seeing the military buildup that would be needed. However, I do know there is a internet blackout in that region, so I genuinely don't know. I can't give you a yes or a no. What I can say is the facts. The facts are, in fact, let me get the map back up. So what I can say is reports are that, and I'm totally speculating here, guys, but in this region, so maybe around here somewhere, in Russia, they're having internet problems and people can't use the internet in this region. Now, if that is reportedly, guys, and again, I can't find anything to collaborate anything to back that up on mainstream media, so that you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. However, it makes perfect sense, right, with the proximity of St. Petersburg, the military units that would be very easily deployed if there was an internet blackout, right? So if there was, and I'm being told that there is, so if there was an internet blackout in this region, you could amass troops round here in these locations, and it will be very, it will be very difficult to report on that. Again, there's not much to report on because you've got a lot of marshland. So could it be happening? Yes. Do I know that it's happening? No. Is it going to happen? Don't know. But those dates are solid, guys. Okay, so those dates are solid. The 2nd and 3rd of April, those dates are solid. I'm not going to change my mind about those. They are very significant dates. The town I've just shared with you guys, that is a very significant town. And I do think if Putin is going to push his little green men into Europe, that's where he's going to be. That's where it's going to go. Right, I'm jumping down again, guys. I'm jumping down again. Sean, is that Narnia? No, it's not Narnia. Although in the winter, it may have a lot of, it may look like Narnia. Eastern Europe's beautiful in winter, guys. Manchester Airport Live, runway closed after emergency. Hang on, let me get this up. Manchester Airport closed. Wow. Right, I'm just going to jump this up, guys. I'm getting this in real time. This is from 44 minutes ago. Manchester Airport Live, runway closed after emergency. What's happened? After emergency EasyJet landing. Right, let me read this before the ads come up. Manchester Airport runway has been closed with flights delayed. According to reports, operations were suspended as fire crews and ambulances responded. A spokesperson for Manchester Airport said the plane, had an issue during loading that caused a fuel leak. A fire engine attended to make sure the plane was safe before it was moved to a stand, they added. Several flights have been delayed, as shown on Manchester Airport's website. So naturally, guys, where we are right now, my go-to, where we are right now in the world, guys, my natural go-to is that this is some sort of sabotage, some sort of asymmetric warfare until proven otherwise. That's just the way you have to be right now. In times of peace, when the world is peaceful, you can say, oh, do you know what? This might be this, this might be that. But right now, Iranian sleeper cells, Russian saboteurs, all sorts of crazy stuff. You have to say from right now, you have to expect the worst and hope for the best, right? And you know what? I think that is that's a good life philosophy, right? Hope for the best and expect the worst and hope for the best. Amanda Bullen is saying Birmingham is in uproar tonight. The man who wants to stand as an MP has been arrested, who has the majority of the community, about 1 hour ago. Right, okay. Look, look, guys, I was talking about this like months ago, maybe years ago. Imagine a scenario in the United Kingdom, right? Imagine a scenario in the United Kingdom where you have for example, and Amanda, you'll see how this fits into what you're. This is the example I used to give. Imagine in the United Kingdom, we have the mayor of one of our beautiful, powerful cities. London, Manchester, Birmingham, I don't know, whatever. And there was evidence that came out that particular man, the mayor, had told the police, because he had told the police not to investigate a certain type of crimes, by de facto making that crime legal in that city. Now, you can say whether it's some sort of gang crime or whatever, it's up to you. Now, what happens then if that person keeps getting elected? Do we just accept that, oh, that crime is legal in that city now? That crime is legal. So where Amanda is saying Birmingham is in uproar tonight, the man who wants to stand as an MP has been arrested, who has a majority of the community about 1 hour ago. Now, let's just say this, right? Let's just say that there is a man who, let's just say that all the council in Birmingham, and we're using Birmingham as a, we're picking on Birmingham, aren't we? Listen, look, Amanda's thrown this out there, so we'll talk about Birmingham. Let's just say that in Birmingham, the mayor, the council, everybody who's in any position of power in Birmingham says something so wild like, everybody's firstborn child is going to be given to the council, and then we're going to do something to that child. You guys, whatever. Where is the legal system to stop that? Where is the legal justification to send in the police? Where is the how do you stop that? You can't. And this is what I mean, okay? We are being subverted. We have been subverted. We are only going one way in the United Kingdom right now, guys. And unfortunately, it ain't uphill. Andy is saying, watched Iran Berkeley. Iran Berkeley, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I just got that guy. Yeah, I got her comment. Amanda's giving us some. Do you know what? Let me try and find this on the main. Do you know what? Let me get Amanda's comment back up and try and get this on the mainstream media. Birmingham MP arrested. Oh, is it Ahmed Yaqub? Is it Ahmed Yaqub? We love Ahmed Yaqub. Oh no, that's from July 25. Birmingham. Right, can you get Amanda, can you please give me his name? Because it keeps bringing up Ahmed Yaqub. I love Ahmed Yaqub. I do. He's great. Ahmed Yaqub's great. He's the gift that keeps giving. And remember, for every offense, there's a defense. We love Ahmed. I do. He's great. I think I'd get on with Ahmed. Right, I'm literally jumping to the bottom, guys. James is saying, Sean, I've heard reports in the Washington Post. Yeah, I heard that as well. Let me find this, actually. Do you know what? Thank you for reminding me, James. Right, so thank you for that, James. I did read that and I totally forgot. So let me share this. Yeah, so the U.S. aircraft carrier, these unsinkable. Look, the USS Gerald, what's it called? Is it Gerald R. Ford? Gerald R. Ford, yeah. The U.S. aircraft carrier to sail to Crete for repairs after fire on board. The U.S. Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is preparing to leave the Red Sea for repairs in Crete after a fire on board, injuring sailors and causing significant damages. It will travel to the US naval base on the island for repairs. Authorities said a blaze broke out in the laundry facility last week and took hours to extinguish. I don't know, guys. What do we think? Do we think it was just a random laundry fire, or do we think it was a drone strike? Honestly, I don't know. I struggle to see how it was a random fire. More than 200 crew members were assessed for smoke inhalation. 2nd of March. God, that plane, that aircraft, that is a beautiful ship. So yeah, look, first of all, where we are right now, nobody knows what's real. We don't know what's real. This could be fake. It could be like the USS Gerald R. Ford could be going to Crete for repairs. It could be going somewhere else with its transponder on to strike somewhere else. It could be smoke and mirrors. It could be deception. It could have been hit by an Iranian missile or drone. The reality is we don't know. Whether it's a fire in the laundry room or not, I wish I had some inside information on that. Unfortunately, I don't. I can only be skeptical about literally everything. Googleinos is saying Denmark was ready to blow up Greenland's runway if the US invaded. I think the US will take Greenland, but I don't think they're going to take Greenland with... I don't think they're going to take Greenland with force. I think they're going to take Greenland with money. I think they're just going to pay them. Like, why wouldn't you, like, if you're in Greenland right now and you get the chance to pay off your mortgage on your house and live mortgage free, but yeah, you have to have like somebody drilling for oil in your miles away where you don't even know, you go, yes, straight away. Like if somebody said to me, Sean, I'm going to pay off your house, right? I'm going to give you enough money to pay off your house. You can live mortgage free. You never have to worry about bills for the rest of your life. But we're going to start mining in like Derbyshire. No, you're not going to see it, but we're going to start mining in Derbyshire. I'd say, so let me get this straight. You're going to start mining in Derbyshire. You're going to pay my house off. All I have to do is sign this piece of paper. Yes, and you'll have to buy things with dollars. Oh, is it good that? Because I've got $200 in my wallet from the last time I was in Baghdad. I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Show me that dotted line. Oh, hang on a minute. So Donna Jenkins is saying Yaqub has been arrested. Is it Yaqub that's been arrested? Oh, I thought he was straight down the line. These racist police officers, they are following my rights, brother. You need to get by the mosque and protect our mosque because we are the Muslims and we will die to protect our place of worship. And remember, for every offense, there's the defense. We love Ahmed. I do. I love Ahmed. He's like a walking meme. He's an absolute walking meme. Was it Ahmed Yaqub that's been, yeah, you guys don't like him. Oh, and then Amanda is saying, yes, it was. Right, let me Google this again. Ahmed Yaqub arrested. Is it Ahmed or Ahmed? Is it Ahmed or Ahmed? I'm not getting anything from like recently. So I'm not getting anything about him being arrested recently. I know he was arrested like I know he was arrested last year for money laundering. I don't want to talk about him, guys. Just looking at his face. Just looking at it, look. I genuinely think I'd get on with him. I get on with everyone. I do. I get on with him, but I would make fun out of him. I would absolutely make fun out of him. Right, guys, there's so many comments on the chat. I'm literally jumping to the bottom. Sean, did you come on a dinghy? No, I didn't. But my ancestors came to the United Kingdom as boat migrants. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this, but my ancestors came to the United Kingdom as boat migrants in the 11th century. We didn't need passports back then. You could just sail over. So you can actually trace my family back to France in the 11th century, coming to the United Kingdom. Oh, hang on a minute. Googleinos is giving a data dump. Right, let's get Googleinos' data dump. Sure, crossbow sails to be banned. Yeah, I watched it. I was reading something about the sales of crossbows and stuff going up. And look, guys, I'll be quite clear. I think they're a waste of money. Crossbows, you know, all that sort of stuff. I think, unless you're thinking about a zombie apocalypse, right, where you're not going to have access to a zombie apocalypse, literally like a full-scale zombie apocalypse. Anything less than a zombie apocalypse, a crossbow, bows and arrows, it's a waste of time, guys. Absolute waste of time. If you've got extra money, and I know this is not sexy, I know it's not that cool bit of kit and equipment, I know it's not that prepper gear that we all want to buy, fill your fuel tank up, right? Literally, go and fill your fuel tank up, right? If you've got a little bit of extra money, go and get yourselves an extended fuel tank in your car. You know, maybe like 300-400 quid or something. You get like somebody to come and weld you another fuel tank in, obviously with no fuel in. You know, you can get an extended fuel tank, because that is the real threat. The real threat right now, ladies and gentlemen, is running out of fuel. Do you guys know, listen, guys, do you guys know that Chuck Norris was once bit by a king cobra? I don't know if you guys know this, but Chuck Norris was walking out. I think he was in Australia. He was doing some filming in Australia, and he was bit by a king cobra. I think it was like after 3 days of excruciating pain, the king cobra died. And another escape from prison. Another escape from prison, guys. It's all gone crazy. Everything's gone crazy right now. The world is bonkers. Right, I am jumping to the bottom. In fact, I need a wee. Right. Do I have a wee? Have I got time for a wee? Yeah, right, guys. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run for a wee. I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to give you guys a Middle East update, because there's been loads of stuff happening still in the Middle East. The crux of this live stream is this new place, this new flashpoint, Narva, the eastern Estonian border town with Russia. When we see this, when we see the half-baked politicians on the media, on the TV, pretending they're experts, yes, the town of Narva, blah, 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 giving the party line, they don't know what they're talking about, guys. And the more I watch the media right now, and the people on the media are actually talking about things that I'm an expert in, and I can understand by their questions and their responses, they don't know what they're talking about. A lot of the questions like that I would answer, I'd say, mate, I'm not answering that question because it's like ridiculous. But first of all, the people who are asking the questions don't know what they're talking about. Incidentally, the people who are answering the questions don't know what they're talking about. So we literally have a situation in the United Kingdom right now where the blind are leading the blind. And nobody, and they've all got ear defenders on. Right, guys, I'm going to run to the toilet. I'll be back. Give me a second. I'm going to do this cider. Give me a sec. Right, welcome back. Thank you for hanging around with me, ladies and gentlemen. Right, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm literally just going to jump. I'm just going to jump through these. I'm just going to jump through this headline. So, we've got that one. Okay, look, guys, before we even get onto this, right? Did anyone see Donald Trump's comments about Japan? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I'm not sorry. So Donald Trump is, he had I don't know, is he the Prime Minister of Japan over for a little soiree? And I think he was the Prime Minister of Japan. And Donald Trump's asking questions, he's taking questions from the audience. And honestly, what is happening right now on Earth, it was always going to happen. So people can throw, is it throwing cake? Is that like an insult if you throw cake? So people can throw cake at Donald Trump. At least he's funny, right? At least he's funny. At least he's funny. So Donald Trump sat there, and there's the Japanese, I think he's like the Japanese Prime Minister, and they're being, listen, guys, Japan looks like a place that I'm really considering moving out to Japan. I love cyberpunk. It looks like a very, ethnically identifiable country, and I would listen, if I went out to Japan, I would learn Japanese, I would learn the cultures, I would learn the culture, I would learn the customs. I would understand if I lived in Japan, I would understand I'm not Japanese, and I will be thankful and grateful to the Japanese for letting me in there. I wouldn't be disrespectful to their culture. I'd learn it. I'd live it. I'd love it. I would be it. But I'd understand that I'm not Japanese, right? I would understand I'm never going to be Japanese. I would be a Japanese immigrant. Anyway, sorry. So Donald Trump sat there, right? And he's in the Oval Office, and there's the woman sat there. I think she's the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister of Japan, and he's taking. Honestly, guys, I was in bits, and me and my friend in Ukraine, we was talking about it, and we were both belly laughing. And one of the Japanese reporters, he says, "Oh, Mr. President, how come you didn't tell people like your allies in Europe and Japan that you were going into Iran?" And Donald Trump turns around and he says something like, well, how come the Japanese didn't tell us when you guys were going into Pearl Harbor? I was in bits, guys. I was in absolute bits laughing. But listen, anyway, right, let me give you guys a Middle East update. So if you live in the United Kingdom, the main thing that everybody needs to understand right now is the price of absolutely everything is blasting. So the price of gas in the United Kingdom is absolutely rocketing. UK gas price surges by 25% overnight. Now that's the gas price, and that was from this afternoon. Now I read another article earlier on saying that the gas price has gone up by 35%. And while you look at this and you think, oh, wow, you don't understand what that means. Well, maybe you do. What that means is industry, steel, manufacturing. It all runs on gas. I'll just give you an example of British steel, right? We don't really do any heavy steel anymore in the United Kingdom. It's not cost effective to do British steel. British steel used to be world renowned for being the best. Turns out we don't do that anymore. We now do British specialty steel. So it's like, I don't know, you've got to have for aviation, basically. Now, with British specialty steel for the aviation industry, when your costs go up 25-35%, that means that you can't produce the product for the price that you've quoted, right? Excuse me. Which means you have to put the price up by 25-30%. Now, if you guys think like you're paying like £1 million for some steel, very quickly that becomes 1.35 million. So that 1.35 million then has to get passed on to your customer. So the knock-on effect to this is huge. So then those people are like, oh, Jesus, right, well, that's a big increase, dude. And he's like, yeah, that's the price of energy. He's like, well, yeah, I'm sorry, mate. I'm going to have to go to like Korea or somewhere that has like nuclear power plants and they can have cheap energy, because I just can't. It's not, so for those people who they're selling that to, it becomes, they're not competitive then when they produce their products. So they have to move somewhere else. They have to, and they should move somewhere else, guys, as well. So what that means is more unemployment. We have not even, it's going to take 3 months at least for this to disseminate down. Look, maybe the summer of carnage, maybe I just called it a year early. But we are going to have, like, if you're a company right now and your energy bills go up 25, 30%, you can't keep the doors open, guys. You can't. If you're a pub, imagine if you're a pub and you've got central heating, gas-powered central heating. Again, you know, I understand that it's summer months and you might not have your heating on. However, all these costs factored in over time, they're just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing any profit out. So people give up. And then you get more people claiming on the system. And it's literally going downhill from now on, guys. What's this one I've got? UK petrol. Right, I'm just gonna show this. Right. UK petrol rationing. We've spoke about this a few times, haven't we? Well, it turns out, I can share this actually. Turns out UK petrol rationing is a thing and it's coming as per this article, and they're looking like you can only spend £30 on fuel. UK petrol and diesel rationing plans reviewed. What a £30 limit could mean for you. So what that would mean is maybe like 15 litres, 10 litres of diesel. Now, that would be in line with what happened in Ukraine. For those of you guys who don't know, when I was in Ukraine in, 22, we literally had two guys, and their job, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, and the weekends as well, actually. We're working 7 days a week. Their job was just to drive to the petrol stations and get in the queue and get as much diesel as they could, because we needed that for our bug-out vehicles. You know, and this is what people right now in the United Kingdom, most people at scale don't understand. If you need to evacuate your town, your city, your village for whatever reason, and you don't have the fuel, guess what? You're not evacuating. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, the advice that I keep giving everyone, I'll keep giving it to everyone. Just make sure your fuel tank is brimmed. Literally right up to the top. And you know when you put the fuel in and then it clicks, take it out, give it a second, do it again. Wait till it clicks, take it out, give it a second, let it settle down, and keep pouring it in until it comes right up to the top, and that's when you're full. And as soon as the needle moves on your car, you fill it up again. That's how everyone should be operating now. And when that stops, and when the fuel rationing starts to come in, you can't get any more fuel, guess what? You don't use your vehicle. You don't think, oh, Chloe, let's go to Skegness this weekend because we've got a full tank of diesel and nobody else has. No, that vehicle then becomes your emergency life ship. Right, I'm just gonna throw these out there, guys. Fuel prices continue to climb. In fact, I will share this actually. Fuel prices continue to climb, with diesel 20 pence since the start of the war. I keep saying, don't I? I keep saying all the time. I keep saying, listen, everything is about diesel. If you've got a diesel car, you really need to understand that there is a strong possibility that diesel will be just taken off the shelves, guys. You know, there really is. There's that strong possibility. Right, I'm gonna get some comments, guys. I'm jumping down to the bottom. Trucker Dan, listen, if anyone knows about fuel, it's definitely Trucker Dan. Get a jerry can or two also. Yeah, definitely. Get them jerry cans, guys, and get them filled up. Listen, There's nothing wrong with stockpiling right now because look, whatever you buy now, fuel-wise, it's going to be, you're going to be saving money because it's going to be more expensive in the months to come. Conspiracy analyst is saying those weird Euro cars run on diesel and hence French frying oil if you had to. No, actually, I think all diesel. No, I know for a fact all diesel. Okay, right. All diesel engines will run on chip fat. SVO, straight vegetable oil. All diesel engines will run on vegetable oil, guys. There's no denying that. That is 100% fact. The problem is a lot of new cars will have sensors that will detect vegetable oil, and they will put you into limp mode. No, limp mode is not what you guys are thinking that you need to go to the chemist for. No, limp mode is just when your car won't go over, like, I don't know, 2,000 revs or whatever, because they think they've got contaminated diesel. It's just a way to stop people doing it. If you've got an older car, I don't know. I used to have a 90. What was it, 92 or 93? I don't know. And maybe a 93. 93 Hilux, one of the Surf SSRX. I used to pour vegetable oil in it. Straight vegetable oil. I never had a problem with it. Emma Jane is saying, surely we could burn coal with filters to keep the air clean in today's world. Yeah, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but when we closed the pits and the mines down, Britain had 200, we are walking on 200 years of coal. That's pretty epic, guys, that we're walking on 200 years of coal. Googleinos. Yeah, this whole Mandelson thing, guys, with Keir Starmer, it's the two things, right? One, he believed Mandelson, in which Keir Starmer's not fit for purpose, he should go. Two, he didn't believe Mandelson, and he knew what he was doing, and in which case Keir Starmer should go. But he ain't gonna go, is he, guys? He ain't gonna go. 3 ships carrying 2,200 soldiers are scheduled to arrive when it's. Yeah, I think that's the U.S. Marines that are due to arrive in the Middle East. I've got a converter to power electrical items from my car. Where I live, it's likely I will need to power electrical items rather than evacuate. 4 Paws is saying I paid 54 pence last. Wow, Jesus! Right, 4 Paws. Wow. I've no doubt you're telling the truth, but that is a biblical price jump, guys. That is a biblical price jump. So 4 Paws, I'm assuming, reading between the lines, and I think she said this before, that 4 Paws has oil central heating, like it says there. That's more than a 50%. That's more than 100% jump, actually. So that price has gone up like what, 100 and Raven Maths, 110%. Right, listen, guys, I'm literally jumping to the bottom, guys. I'm jumping to the bottom, jumping straight to the bottom. Absolutely apologizing if I'm missing any. I'm more drunk. Right, I'm more drunk. I hope you're behaving. Because I know I'm more drunk, send some bad stuff on the chat, but, you're being good today, so let's keep it that way. A more drunk is saying £1.67. Yeah, I actually saw it by me. That it's jumped up. Where was it? So for those of you guys remember, let me give you the numbers. When was it? I can't remember when it was. I'm not using the car that much. I went. When did I go? I can't. Less than a week ago, I went out and I don't get diesel, but diesel was at I think it was diesel was at one. It had gone up and it was at £1. I think it was at £1.56 or something. I went back. No, at £1.57. I went back later on that day and I drove past it again and it was at £1.59. Where we live now, diesel is at £1.70. Yeah, Andy is saying show profiteering. Yeah, this is what happens. You know, this is absolutely what happens. You get profiteering, you get price gouging, and it's just, you know. So what these oil companies will be doing is they'll be saying, well, there's a war. We have to put our prices up. Sorry, guys. The war in the Middle East has forced us to raise our prices. We're all in this together. You know, and if you look at the oil companies in 2022, when Putin invaded Ukraine, the 2022 invasion, because you know the main invasion was 2014, they had their biggest profits ever. You know, it really is bonkers, guys. It's insane, but we can't do anything without it. So my advice to everybody right now, guys, is just brim your tank. You know, that's like the 30 seconds advice, right? If I had to give you advice right now in 30 seconds, brim your tank, make sure it's continuously full. It's going to be a pain. It's going to be difficult to fill your tank every time. I know it is, guys. But I definitely see a very real possibility that there are fuel shortages. Look, when it comes up, right, that if the government say, right, okay, we are implementing fuel rationing, right, we're having fuel rationing, guess what? Everybody's going to be out buying fuel. They are. That's what's going to happen, guys. They'll be filling jerry cans up and everything because they'll go to one garage, then another garage, and guess what? That will cause a shortage. That will cause a shortage because people will be buying it. So fuel shortages are coming now. Whether that's real or manufactured doesn't really matter to you guys or us because the fuel shortage will be real. Right, listen, guys, I am... Oh, hang on. Qatar's foreign minister condemns. Yeah, they're all condemning each other, right? They're in a state of war. We're in a state of war. The price of everything's going to go up, guys. It really is. There's no stopping it. The conspiracy analyst is saying here they have off-road diesel. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I think they have that in the United Kingdom as well. It's called red diesel as well. So you can use red diesel for like I think you can use it for tractors, anything like farm equipment, anything that you've got on your own land basically. But yeah, it's got like a red dye in it. And Googleinos is saying that the LNG export capacity has been reduced by 17% and it will take 3 to 5 years to repair the damage. Yeah, like people don't like, look, guys, you don't understand, like, unless you've worked, right, unless you've worked on the oil fields in the Middle East, unless you understand military tactics and strategy, unless you understand military procurement, unless you understand geopolitics, it's very difficult to grasp everything that's happening right now, okay? Basically, let me put it this way. Imagine your car's on fire, right? Your car's on fire. And all the politicians are standing around looking at it saying, right, we're going to sign this. We're going to sign this. We're going to sign this. No, we're going to sign this. While the car's burning. And they're all arguing about what bits of paper they're going to sign. Your car's still fucking burning, dude. Literally, your car is still burning. And, like, the more I look at people on the mainstream, the more I am 100% convinced they don't know what they're talking about. And that's not a good thing. Right, listen, I am going to close this down now, guys, okay? The crux of this video has been the new war front that I think will open up relatively soon, guys. Okay, I think this is going to open up relatively soon, and it's a little city, it's a little town called Narva in eastern Estonia, which is in Eastern Europe. It's a Russian border town. Nobody's talking about it at the moment. However, when this happens, you're going to see all the people on mainstream media all of a sudden become experts on Eastern Europe, on Russians, on Russian tactics, and on Estonia. They're all going to be talking about this little village, and then the next thing will happen. So I do think that's going to happen very quickly, guys. Oh, hang on a minute. Silly Gallardi has said... So Benjamin Netanyahu has said in a press conference today with all his 12 fingers that the war will not be as long as people say. Well, look, I'm saying there's going to be that things are not going to be back to, just don't think of anything going back to any semblance of normality in the Middle East for 3 years. 3 years, that's what I'm saying, guys. Right, I've literally just jumping to the bottom, guys. Sharon Owen is saying, thank you, Sean. Thank you too, Sharon, for watching. Right, that is... Right, guys, that's it. I am gonna leave it there, guys. You guys have been fantastic. I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Can you do me a real big favor, guys? Can you share this video with one of your friends? Because I know when I talk about things that are not in the mainstream media, things that are not on Google Trends, things that people are not searching for, they don't get as many views. So can you guys do a video and just share this on your socials, because this is going to be the next thing, guys, okay? That little town of Narva in Estonia, Eastern Estonia, that is going to be the next flashpoint, guys. It really is. Anyway, and on that bombshell, I'm going to leave you to this, guys. I'll see you in the morning, 10 o'clock. Don't be late. Have a good night.